Hey guys, Josh here on Politically Lost. Today I want to talk about something that's very current in today's, sadly, political world and just our world in general, and that is political violence. I don't ever, I'm not glorifying anybody's death, murder, anything like that because of political views. That's a no-go in my mind, no matter what side you're on. I don't like that people celebrate that. So I think it's wrong and I don't like it. Also, I will say that I do believe that both sides need to tone down the rhetoric. If you're over here saying, "Oh, it's all the left," like this administration and other people like to say, I'll disagree with you on that. If you're gonna over there, if you're on their side and say it's the right, they're doing this and that, they're all these things that they call them. I'll disagree with you on that because it's both sides need to tone it down. I think it's problematic when you have the president using terms like grouping everybody that voted Democrat or don't have the beliefs of his party into a group. I think that's wrong. I don't, everybody, you have different variations of thought on different topics. And just because you voted for Harris or Joe Biden or whoever doesn't mean you agree with everything that's going on in the party. That's possible, and we got to remember that in America here. Also, we got to also remember with the people on the left that just because people are Donald Trump doesn't mean they're Nazis or fascists or you can't talk to them or whatever. We got to remember that, guys. We can't just be stuck in these echo chambers or bubbles in our own political side and just stay there because you're not growing as a person. You're not, and I understand. I get it. I was at one point in time where I'm like, okay, I don't want to be friends with anybody that did this. That's not a way to be, I don't think. That's not a way to grow America. That's not a way to be Americans. And I understand we have some pretty strong disagreements, and I still do today. I have some strong disagreements with people that I know in my life. That doesn't mean I'm not going to talk to them, and that doesn't mean that I'm not going to be their friend, because that's how I feel. And like I said, I think the far left, needs to not use the terms Nazis, fascists, things like this, even though you may believe it to be true. I don't think we need to say these things in public. I don't think because then you have people that go and put on a bullet, catch us fascists, or different things like that. You don't understand people's mental states, and these things could rile them up. Same for, like I said, on the right, when they use the term they're grouping us all in. You got people on the right saying we need a civil war or a United States divorce. I don't agree with any of that. I think that would make us weaker as a country if we got a divorce in this country. It doesn't need to happen. We've always worked through it. There was a time where we didn't work through it, and it was a war, and it wasn't good for this country. A lot of people died in that, and it's just kind of been one way since then. And a friend of mine did make an argument like, well, you have now North and South Korea. You have some other places that have divisioned off. Like, why couldn't it happen here? And I just think it would totally make us weaker as a country. It'd definitely make us weaker as a superpower. No doubt about that in my mind. I don't know if we'd have the same power. Not that we necessarily need that power. We'll get into that in another video. Sorry, I kicked on my desk. We'll get into that in another video, but I do think that the rhetoric definitely needs to be toned down on both sides, and that's what I got to say. I feel like, people that celebrated Charlie Kirk's death or people that didn't care and didn't even pay attention to, when that political Democratic person in the, what was it, Congress or something, got killed, and they didn't lower no flags or nothing for her, but for Charlie Kirk they did. I think that's wrong. Trump was asked about that, and he said, who? Like, he didn't know who it was. So, I mean, we can't do this. We can't do that political favoritism. We should do it across the board. And like I said, if Democrats, if they would do that too, it's wrong. So I'm not on here saying that, one side's better about it or another. But, okay, that's what was on my mind, especially, and everybody, this is another thing that why I'm bringing this up. Everybody's so quick to label, oh, this guy was a trans or a leftist, or this person was a MAGA nut, or this person far right, blah, blah, or, I just feel like the media and a lot of podcasters, right wing and left wing, are looking for this. They're looking for a label, and they want that label because they can further agendas with those labels. And that's just how I feel about that. So, okay, guys, talk to you later. Politically Lost. What do you guys think? Bye. Like, comment, subscribe.